Welcome to the studios of ESP Media for our Amberley Village Information Podcast on Coyotes. I'm Greg Waddell, and I'm here with Officer Chris Fritsch from Amberley Village. And Officer, obviously, people in Amberley Village right now have been very concerned. It's been an ongoing problem for a number of years, maybe starting to get a little bit worse. First off, probably what we need to do is to identify exactly what a coyote is.
Sure, a coyote is a small dog. It's part of the canine family. Its size ranges from anywhere to 30 to 45 pounds. 45 pounds would be on the higher end weight scale. Typically, they do look a lot larger than what they are because of their fur, their outdoor environment, especially wintertime when there's a lot of vegetation off the trees. You see them more often. So they may appear to be 60, 70 pounds, but they're a lot smaller than that.
And you mentioned it, though, obviously, that they are part of the canine family, so they can look like dogs. So properly identifying and making sure that we know what a coyote is, that's first and foremost. You mentioned some of the vegetation that grows at different parts of the year. Do coyotes eat? Is there something specific that draws them to the area?
They're omnivores. They're scavengers. They will eat just about anything. They'll travel as far as they have to and search for food. That's their ultimate goal throughout the day. So they could be eating under bird feeders. They could be eating fruits and berries on the ground. They could be preying on small animals, mice, birds, or even dogs or cats.
How about, do they run individually? Do they run in packs? Do you see a lot of them together?
Typically you don't. They do mate for life. So if you see one, there may be another one close. They could be seen in a pack of 3. But most times 3 is the most that you would see together.
With these kinds of animals, is there a part of day they're predators? So is there a time of day that they're more active than others?
Yes, it's dawn and dusk is typical hours that you'd see them. They are nocturnal and they will hunt at night. They do not like to travel much during the day because of the urban environment that we're in, high traffic, high volume of people out and about.
So obviously educating ourselves is one thing. We need to understand what these kinds of animals are. They're predators. Do they chase people? Should people be concerned about being run down?
There are recorded cases that they have chased people. However, we've never had anything like that in Amberley Village or in our surrounding communities. If you see a coyote out, do not run. Just make loud noises, bang on pots and pans, scream and yell. And our coyote population that we've seen so far, they're not habituate. They fear people still, okay. So they will run away.
Now, trying to figure out what to do with these, that's the next step in all this. What should residents do? And we'll go over this a couple of different times, but if you are concerned about seeing a coyote, what should a resident do first?
The first thing they need to do is try to eliminate why they're in their yard so often and they're seeing them. It could be bird feeders that they have out that attract other small game, rabbits, mice, birds. If they eliminate those, or they could go to the other extreme is fencing in their backyard to prevent the coyote from even getting into the backyard or making it a little bit more difficult. One other thing that you could do, since they are primarily nocturnal or right at dawn and dusk, is you could put up motion lights, and when they pop on, that could trigger the coyote that, look, something's happening that shouldn't be at this time of day, and they'll run off.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that have guns nowadays. Can homeowners shoot a coyote if they see them?
You cannot shoot a coyote in Amberley. If you see one, we want you to report it. Don't take action yourself. There are other ways and means that you can try to eliminate them or remove them from your property.
Children out playing around a lot. As weather gets warmer, different parts of the year, people are going to be out playing. We mentioned that the adults, if they see them, should just freeze. How do we kind of educate our children to do the same thing?
Children should be kids. Be loud and active, and don't go into parts of the woods that they're not accustomed to or they typically don't go into. They just need to be monitored by adults too, to make sure that they're being in a safe area of the yard, and especially if they've seen coyotes there before.
Can coyotes be relocated if someone were to be able to catch them? Are they able? A lot of people don't want to see them necessarily killed. Can they be relocated?
Right. They've tried this in the past, relocating coyotes, and it's very difficult and it doesn't work very well. When they relocate a coyote, it goes into a different environment, and typically they die because of the change. The coyote is the most diverse predator. It's expanded its range, and the only predator that's expanded its range in America.
Wow.
So it adapts very well, and it moves, and it can live in almost any environment. So relocating one doesn't mean that another one's not going to come right back.
Absolutely. So can't trappers be called? There are a lot of various companies around town that can get the critter getters, and maybe relocate them, or at least get rid of them for the time being?
Absolutely. Trapping is permitted in Amberley, and if you do trap, it's usually by a snare or a leg hold trap. We just have to be cautious if you do call a trapper, that you need to be aware that these traps can trap other animals, including possums, raccoons, or other pets, dogs,
right,
and cats. So you have to be very cautious when you're using a trapper.
And most of all, let's give information about how people can get a hold of Amberley Village, phone numbers, and maybe different resources.
Right. If you see a coyote, please report it. We will ask you a few questions on specifics, time, and what it was doing. We want to know. And the number that you can call is Amberley Village Police Department at 513-531-2040. We do promote looking on Ohio Department of Natural Resources website. They do have certified and licensed trappers. You do have to be licensed and certified to trap in the state of Ohio. You can't put out traps and yourself. It has to be monitored to certain regulations with those traps. So if you go onto their website, it's Ohio Department of Natural Resources. They'll give you some other helpful tips on coyotes and what you need to do to trap them.
And one more time, the phone number as well, again, for Amberley Village?
It's 513-531-2040.
And hopefully we're educating you just a little bit about the problems with coyotes in Amberley Village. This has been just a little bit of an information getter. Please share this with your family and friends so we can help alleviate this problem. And we appreciate you watching today this Amberley Village Information Podcast on Coyotes from ESP Media.